Hello everyone, and welcome to my August sketchbook tour, where I have finished yet again just one sketchbook. I do have a couple in the works still, as always, and they're getting really close to being finished, so either the next one or at least until October I'll have a couple to show you. But as of right now, I am sorry, there is only one, and it is this one, and as usual I have snapped the spine. So I think in the next one though I've been doing pretty well with just folding the pages, but still. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is definitely my my Ninja Empire book. Like, I'm trying to continue to have a lot of Ninja Empire sketchbooks, and so it's all filled. I do have one that I've started that is a hodgepodge of stuff, so you'll be able to get to see some of the crazy ramblings that go into my head that are not affiliated with this project. So this is my daughter, and I was trying to put her into the game, but we'll see how that works. But that's my daughter, some random guy that really didn't work out. I don't really know if you guys can see that, but this is the Red Scourge. These are some of the scribbles that I was doing for that. This was a Patreon character, and so this one was really fun to do. I got to play with the basket. Like, I wanted to bring the basket. I had a couple people that I had done in previous sketchbooks that actually had that, but I figured bringing it in would be nice, and then just trying to add some details that will make this character actually stick out. I started designing tattoos because this particular character is supposed to have some type of magical qualities to him, and then I was trying to think about what kind of like wizardry tattoos I could use, and just looking at some different things and thinking about time, and you know, just trying to put in some runes and stuff that mean something. And so those were the ideas that I came up with, and then details for what some of the sashes would have to break up the color, because I know that I have a tendency to leave everything blank and then try and fix it with color, and so I wanted to make sure that I added in some details and stuff like that. This has now become this symbol of the Red Scourge. It is a broken unity symbol, and then it all represents into one. So the idea is that these guys are they share a hive mind. They're not the same person, but it's kind of like the Borg, and they all have their own individuality, but they are all linked together, and so that's why, you know, like, we are one, but we are individual. So this particular member of the Red Scourge likes to play the flute, and so I figured that would be something interesting. Like, when you heard the flute, you would know that they were coming, kind of deal. So it'd have this very beautiful song, but you knew that death was on its way. And then drawing a raven, because I figured, you know, let's do some symbology, something with symbols that people understand, with symbolism and stuff like that. And I figured the raven was a nice touch. And then just more, you know, just really trying to push on some of the ideas. The cloak sash and what it represents. It covers his arm completely, and there's a reason for that. Definitely check out the video on the Red Scourge, because you'll get to learn more of his story. Then I started drawing and developing one of the main 12. The main 12 characters. So this is, whoops, see, like I said, I have already snapped it. This is the one of the main characters, one of the main 12, and he is in charge of the underworld. And so I was trying to think about how could I make that interesting, and I went more with this kind of skirt idea that is represented a lot in Asian culture, and so I wanted to bring that in. But you know me, I have these like long sashes and stuff. That's something that I do, you know, and then just trying to come up with how I could make this. And because I drew the Red Scourge first, and they had these kind of, you know, neck sashes, I wanted to represent that in this guy as well, because the Red Scourge is a lot about death. And so since he deals with the underworld and death, I figured that it would be nice to have that correlation between the two, even though they don't necessarily work together. I thought it would be a nice visual reference for people to see. Then I was asked to draw a Witcher type character. So someone that hunts a lot of demons and stuff like that, and I wanted to make him a little bit more evil, I guess. So it's like dark fur, crazy eyes and stuff like that, but I wanted to make him more like a monk. And so, you know, it's just trying to do different type of wraps and stuff that would be represented by monks. But the skull is very important. I like this staff. I thought that this was really, you know, just an interesting style. It's not the basic one, but so I figured that this, and then adding these details as far as the wraps go and stuff like that. Once again, just trying to push details in some of my characters. Then these are some very quick storyboards for the opening of Ninja Empire that I'm actually going to have someone else work on. So I'm going to be doing the storyboards. Like, I need to flesh these out more, but I have someone else who's willing to do the actual animation for it. So that's really cool. Then I'm trying to do some merch. And so this is a keychain that I developed, it came out really, really good. I enjoy it very much, and it'll be up on my store pretty soon. Then I was working out storyboards for the intro animation, like the, not intro, the new character animation. And I thought that this came out really, I mean, it's very simple, but I thought it really came out nice. And here, let me show you. So as you can see, you know, the idea of these thumbnails came across really well in the actual animation. For that, I was very happy at how that came out, especially since it was one of the first times that I did it. A little bit more details. So this is details for the Witcher character. So like I said, I'm really trying to add more to my characters to give them a lot more visual interest for people to see, and still keep it somewhat graphic design oriented. So it's still a lot of shapes and stuff like that, but there's a lot more details that I'm putting on, and I think that's very important to try and push my characters to the next level. Ideas for an art book: a different size, 4.5 by 7, so it'll be lengthwise. I think that would be really cool, but I'm definitely working on some sketchbooks, and then a full-on like art book, 300 pages, you know, that tells the story of Ninja Empire and its progression as it went forward. Then just trying to come up with poses for the Witcher character. And then it was funny, the pose that really came across as this is who I want this person to be was a very simple stoic standing there like, oh my goodness, you see this guy, he means business. And then the mark of the High Order is something that I came up with, and he is one of them. And if you'd like to know the story of the High Order, you need to watch the Witcher video, which I will link in the card for you. Randomness, just me scribbling, and this kind of departs, I would say, from the feeling of Ninja Empire, but I might be able to bring it in because the world is so massive that you're able to actually do anything from sci-fi to, you know, like a feudal Japan type thing. So everything is included. It just needs to be separated by, it's like, oh, this place over here was left alone and technology stopped here, and so we don't have that, and then stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to bringing a whole lot of different like genres together, like sci-fi and then fantasy and then maybe even horror and stuff like that. So should be fun. Poses, random sketches, something like this character keeps coming up, so I'll probably do something with her. I like this kind of face mask, so we'll try that. Just scribbling, trying to do some weird intricate knife, that the braided weave knife, just not working. And then, you know, just trying to figure out just random characters that I'd like to draw. And then I was working on a character, my Time Ninja, who is another one of the 12, but I was working on the computer with him, and so I was trying to decide on what kind of knife or sword to give him. So there's some sword designs, the creation of Ninjagist, so the thumbnail or the prompts and stuff that I do for Ninjagist. Borders, looking for some borders, trying to figure out something to bind everything together and make it look interesting. So we're trying that out. More designs, just trying, once again, we're trying to keep things interesting and push on the silhouette and stuff like that. Then I had another character that came from Patreon. So this character was actually, this character was decided upon 3 profiles. The Patreon people picked one, and then I create a character based off of the profile that I created. And so this character came out really cool. I'm actually really happy with the way he came out. And once again, if you want to know his story, check out the card, and there'll be a link to his story as well. But I wanted him to be like a bigger character, so that happened. This guy I'm really excited to draw. I don't know anything about him. I like the way that this came out, so I'm definitely going to jump on that relatively soon to develop that character a little further. And then I want to give him something different than just a base knife, so it'll probably be, this or this one, right? Just trying to give a different knife so that when you see him with it, it's got a nice silhouette to it. And then I wanted this no tech for this guy, so I made this kind of gauntlet, and this kind of looks like a very graphic design of an animal skull, and so I like this, and so I think that'll fit really well with that. A character that I drew in something else that I then brought back just because I needed to draw something that day, and I used a little bit of marker, and so that was fun. And then this is where the Ninja Empire and everything about Ninja Empire has shifted. So I actually was approached by one of my former students, and he was like, look, you're really pushing on this graphic design idea, so why don't you try a different size where it's just shapes? And and we looked around on some things together, and I found this style from the video game Brawlhalla, and I really did enjoy it, and I was like, well, I could do that. Theirs was more in the chibi cartoony style, and I want to really just change the proportions of what I normally draw and put them into this. So now all my characters are 2.5 heads tall, and it has a different look to it, to me at least, when it's all finished. You have these characters that the faces they don't change. So this would be the face that you would get, but then it would be placed on this body, right? So when I'm doing my drawings, it's really funny because my sketchbooks, because another one that I started, I'm doing another Patreon character, all the concept stuff starts the way that I normally draw it, and then I come over and I switch it up for the proportions. And I just think that it's going to be a pretty interesting style as it moves forward, and there is a lot of the ideas that we can push on this chibi style, but then put it on invincible level, like violence, right? And so when you see this one, so when it goes into more of a chibi style, right, with the eyes and stuff for like the female characters, the bigger you make them, the more childlike they become. So it's less about keeping everyone with gigantic eyes. I can actually move the eyes, the size of the eyes, to actually push age. And so I really do like that as well. And so this was the design. This was the first drawing that I did for that Witcher character. And then I took this into the computer and I cleaned it up. Just a random character that I drew. Kind of like a lot of elements here, but we're going to have to play around with that one a little bit. And then I started using marker because I needed to finish pages. And if it's drawn on, if the marker bleeds to the other side, then I can't really draw on that. And this was the other character, that big burly character. And then I'm doing storyboards for a new logo that I just finished on my streams on Twitch. But so I had a friend of mine write up what Kaiser Studio would look like as far as in the Japanese language. And so the idea is that the font will come in as though someone was writing it out. Then there'll be some slashes, some explosions, and then my character will be here, and he has a pencil in his afro, so he pulls out the pencil, looks at the he looks at the camera, runs forward, and either, as he gets close to the camera, turns into a bunch of leaves or something like that, and then that character's head will appear out of the leaves, and then the logo will appear. And so really trying to push on this Ninja Empire thing no matter where it is, so whether it's in my sketchbooks, my drawings, making toys, or logos and stuff like that. So definitely trying to go all in on Ninja Empire. Different weapons designs, trying to keep things interesting. I find myself doing a lot of curves nowadays, so definitely trying that. I like this profile. I like it because the mask is actually just wraps, so we can continue that throughout the actual figure. So that's probably going to be next month's profiles, one of them at least. Then I have these guys, which will become foot soldiers for somebody. I don't know who yet, but they're going to become foot soldiers. I really like that basic look, indescript look. So then let's see. So this guy, I wanted him to be like a brawler. So he's really up close and personal. And so he's got like fist gauntlets and then knee pads and stuff like that. And so just me trying to figure out what kind of character I want. I don't want him to be very tech-y in here. So that's why we had these multiple, kind of like shields. I think these are backwards. But kind of like this would be my Muay Thai fighter. Real close, really up front. And so I think that would be really fun to actually have a different style, so it's not all just like weapons. It can be hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. And this last guy, I don't know. It's like, I have no idea, but I do like this mask, like the double curved mask, so that mask might actually show up somewhere. I do like that. And then the last, it was literally just random drawings, and then I think trying to come up with an Oni mask, but have it stylized, and then just having, a guy who's tattooed from top to bottom, I think would be interesting. But I definitely need to work on that mask. So that's it. That's my sketchbook this month. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really hoping that next month I'll have more than one, because as you know, I'm falling behind. So this marks number 4, and we are in month 8. And if this keeps going where I only do one, I'm just going to be further and further and further behind. So I need to really crank it up and finish some of these extra sketchbooks so that I can try and catch up, because as time continues, I'm realizing that if I don't do something fast, there's going to be some type of punishment that you guys will have to come up with for if I do not finish all 12 by the end of the year. So hopefully you are still wishing me luck on trying to get these done, or maybe you're just hoping that I do fail so that you guys can get something cool out of the situation. Well, like I said, that wraps up August's sketchbook. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys at the next video. I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to check out some of my other videos, click on the link on your right. Or if you're interested in a more behind the scenes and personal look at what I do on a day-to-day basis, please click on the link that leads you to the vlog. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the next video.